Hello and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us tonight for the Cookout podcast, where we talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling.
Yep, we're back as always on Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining us. If you're here with us and new, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video, hit the bell to be notified. It feels a little weird because I don't want it to just be like an obligatory thing that we do during this time of year, but it is Pride Month, so we figured we would take a cookout and discuss kind of the state of LGBTQIA plus in wrestling at the moment, and maybe touch on some stuff in the past and just kind of discuss where we're at. Um, so I guess because CM's usually here for just a short period of time right now, we'll go ahead and let her do her clown of the week first, and then we can go on from there.
Well, I'm a Drew McIntyre fan, so we all know I'm starting off with Bill. Bill, I hate you. I hate you as much as Kendrick hates Drake. The same reasons. Everything. I don't like you. You're horrible. Second clown of the week is a very easy clown of the week. All the people talking smack about Jade and her botch. The ropes were messed up. It's been acknowledged the ropes were messed up. Can't be mad because the ropes were messed up. However, people are talking about the botch. I would like to appreciate the camera or the cameraman who was in the corner, because we got a great visual. I didn't even notice the botch. I know this booty. So all those who are complaining, just go back and just watch for the booty. It's very simple. Why are you complaining about that? It's right there. And, you're blessed. How can you be mad? How can you be mad at that? You can't. Unless you're a hater. So, yeah. Phil, and people being upset about a botch. She did not do it on purpose. The ropes were messed up. Clearly. Damian Priest got caught up. Every match had a botch with the ropes. I've watched the different replays and stuff. I'm just saying. Just go appreciate that moment. Rewind it. Just rewind that part. It's a great part of the match. But yeah.
Phil.
Why are you going mad at that? Like, so dumb. When you can be mad at Phil for messing us up again. Fuck you.
All the ropes aside, all that aside, botches happen, and what fucking difference does it make? Shit isn't perfect. It's supposed to happen. It's a athletic endeavor where you're trying to do something that's not normal. I mean, what the fuck? Of course, shit happens. I mean, she's not the first. She's not the last. It is what it is. I mean, move the fuck on, right? I mean,
don't you know AEW should have taught her better? WWE should have taught her better.
Yeah, right. Because homegrown WWE people have never done something stupid, or made a mistake, or had a botch, or.
But it's one thing where, okay, I did it incorrectly, or I went a step back too fast. No, like Tim said, every match the ropes was messing people up to a point where the ref told AJ before their match, bruh, the ropes are jacked up. Just your little springboard. You might not want to do that this match. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. So it really is like, really. So we're just gonna focus on her when it's a known fact. The ropes suck the whole freaking pay-per-view.
And again, I still say, so what? That's either here or there. It shouldn't matter. It is what it is. It happened. Move on. I mean, it happens all the time to everybody. It's not like she's the first person. Not like she's the last person it's going to happen to. So, I mean, it didn't ruin the match for me. It didn't do anything to ruin the match or affect the match for me. So, it is what it is.
I didn't watch the match. And I go back and watch that part, because
Yeah, booty.
Looking at that. Like, if you really mad about a botch, like, I'm mad that Braun Breaker had a botch and I ain't seen no cheeks. So, what am I do with it? Finn Balor gave me cheeks. Roman is the reason why he switched to them trunks. Actually from the trunks to the long pants NXT before they edited it out.
Tribal chief.
Accidents happen. At least it wasn't like a nip slip.
At least it wasn't like a nip.
Well, Charlotte wasn't on the show.
Well, those are fake.
People get mad when stuff happens like that, but then they also get mad when it's too perfect and too over choreographed or too, you know what I mean? It's like, well, I mean, what do you want? I mean, it's either too much. People are never happy. That's the thing. No one's ever going to be happy. Not everyone's always going to be happy, and it just is what it is. Move on. Still a solid match, and move on. So, like I said before, I don't want this to feel like just our obligatory once a year on this subject, but it is Pride Month, so we are going to talk about LGBTQIA plus in wrestling, and I do want to approach it I want to approach it sensitively, obviously, because it is a sensitive subject. CM made a point before we came on here that we don't want to mention anybody that may or may not be whatever out with everybody, and so I don't know the best way to do that. I know that Sammy found a list on Wikipedia of current, and I'm assuming that those mean that they are out. I don't know. I mean, obviously on Wikipedia, anyone can edit it and anyone can write anything.
Patterson's on the list, so it should be all time.
I mean,
confirmed.
I know that anyone can.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they have confirmed, because there are some people who have just caught on that two female wrestlers are in a relationship, and people are saying that one of them, who is clearly not straight, is straight and married to a man, but there's no confirmation for things. So
I mean, but also you could be bisexual and married to a man.
They are not that. They are on one. They're the L in it. But
I guess here's go ahead.
When you want to approach stuff like that, instead of naming names, talk about like how things have changed. Have we become more welcoming? Have we stopped stereotypes? Like the Goldust thing. That was, if you go back, I don't know if y'all have gone back and watched what they said by Jerry Lawler when Goldust was up there. I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they have a WWE especially, but you know, wrestling in general has a history of bad mouthing the openly flamboyant or the, you know, apparently gay or at least androgynous wrestlers as they're performing, right? So they talked about Goldberg being a disgusting, or not Goldust being a disgusting pervert, all those kinds of things. It's like, so does that mean? I mean, if he's portraying, in theory, someone that's androgynous and or homosexual, and you're calling him a disgusting pervert, are you implying that homosexuality is disgusting and perverted? That's how I take it. You know, like I said, I watched this movie Out in the Ring, which came out in 2022, which is I forget the lady that did it, but it's basically on this subject, and they talked about, you know, all the history and so on and so forth, and it was very eye-opening, and they talked about this specific situation and just how Goldust. It's how it's an interesting line to have, kind of that androgynous / homosexual character, which is on TV something, I guess, progressive, but then when you treat them as a negative thing, it almost detracts from it and takes it makes it take a step back. It does more damage than it does good. So
I remember
go ahead.
I remember seeing a thing from back in the day. I think it was Bubba Ray Dudley who was wrestling, and like the crowd was just yelling like remarks and stuff, and then you take that from back then of like 20 years ago and then compare it to now, like Anthony Bowens being on the mic and
he's gay, I love that moment. It was like and the irony of Billy Gunn being involved in that. I don't think a lot of people understood that because he and Chuck Palumbo wanted that wedding that they had to be respectful of the community, so they tried to do things with that in mind.
Mhm.
Others did not have that respect, and that's why we kind of got what we got. But to have him in the ring when that happened and like looking at his face, it was just like, this is what I wanted to happen. This is acceptance for people. I was just like, well, my cold little heart grew 3 sizes that day.
And that's another thing. It's more so about how you see people and like with the Goldust character, like he was supposed to be androgynous. He was supposed to be a part of the community, right? But he was out there. He was like let's not act like Goldust wasn't rubbing on him. He wasn't rubbing on people in the corner and doing the whole tongue thing and looking at it. So it's so calling him a sick pervert and the stuff Jerry Lawler said, that wasn't necessary. But let's not act like he wasn't keeping his hand to
To be fair, he didn't start off doing that. He was much more of kind of like a mild prince. That's how I'll say it, a mild prince. And then as it came on worse and you kind of saw some of the wrestlers being kind of creeped out by being in the ring with him, that's when he played into it a little bit more. But I think back to Orlando Jordan.
Yep.
And it was like he was this powerhouse, he was unstoppable, he was this, he was that. And then he came out and they just kind of switched it. And I never understood why. Because I'm just like, why would you do this? Like he was so good and now he's this. I can't get jiggy with this.
Yeah.
Now that's a person that the Wikipedia list has as being a character and not confirmed in real life.
And he's confirmed it multiple times.
Hmm.
Like that's the thing that gets me. Like there are people who have confirmed that they are. There's people who haven't confirmed, and people just say they are because
he's on both lists as character and person.
Never
mind. He's on both lists.
I want more for us. And it's kind of like certain characters won't ever get over, like Nyla Rose and that whole thing. And it sucks because she's not allowed to wrestle because when she wrestles, the tweets are always, oh, she's beating up a woman and this is a man beating up a woman. And it's like, Nyla Rose is one of the better women's wrestlers that they have. And they can't even feature her because people are peopling.
That's nice.
Like I don't want to give them any like credit for anything like that. But it's just like, oh my God, y'all suck. I want to hear Nyla say surprise, bitch. And I like kicking violence. Like I love Nyla Rose doing Nyla Rose things.
Or just
why do I gotta be punished?
Just jumping off the turnbuckle and just slapping and just put someone and just slam them to the guardrail because a brawl broke out. Yes, violence. It's like, no, you just had nothing to do with you. It's
like her and Jay could have been such a really great feud, but because people online ruined it, we didn't get to see all of that. Because that could have gone on for way longer because they was talking shit to each other. I fully expected Nyla to run up and be like, yo, Jay, I'm at your house. What you do? And then we get Nyla. I expected these things. And what we get? Yes.
I feel like there's a lot more women in the community that are wrestlers than there are men in the community that are wrestlers.
That are out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's out.
They're out. Because as much
I
as
think it's still.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think, unfortunately, sports, the military, a lot of those places are still not safe places, especially for men. It's a little safer for women, but not a whole lot. And men really don't feel comfortable, especially in an area where it's a lot of men, highly testosterone-driven male situation for men to admit that they're gay. I mean, like I was saying, and I hate to keep referring to the same movie, but I just watched it today, and it had a lot of good stuff in it. Mike Perro was on there. Perro, the wrestler who wrestles in GCW, and he is out. And he talked about the struggle, and he talked about how. And this is not that long ago. I mean, this is 2022. I mean, he said in 2021 or 2020, he was struggling so much he was thinking about suicide because it was so hard to not. He was denying bookings because he couldn't be himself. He was turning down bookings because he couldn't be himself. He didn't feel comfortable. He wasn't comfortable doing what he loved doing because he couldn't be himself, and he was depressed and miserable as a person. So, and once he was able to come out, now his career has skyrocketed and turned around because he has joy in what he's doing now, and people are recognizing that, and it's translating into his work in the ring. So, it's important to give people the safe space to come out, but there's not enough, especially men that are willing to come out, especially men that are not already looked at as potentially effeminate or looked at as thought of as, oh, that dude's gay. Because, I mean, that's, that's how some people see people. So, I mean, it's.
What CM said, it feels like once you come out, oh, that's your character. And and 7 out of 10 people don't want to be wrestler-wise. They don't want to be a flamboyant character. They just want to wrestle. They just want to hit people. They just want to punch somebody in the throat. But for some reason, because now you know who I'm dating, now that should be who I am in the ring. And that's not right.
Now, there's a difference between being a gay wrestler and being a wrestler that's gay, right? I mean, so you don't have to be that persona. Not every homosexual wrestler is flamboyant and out there and wants to be, that character. So,
but meanwhile, the inverse is true. You'll have a straight dude who wants to be the flamboyant dude, like Dalton Castle, perfect example.
With the peacocks, like that is like the quintessential all the gayness. But it's like I don't understand, because wrestling inherently is a homoerotic sport. You can't. You are putting a man's head in between your legs and you're moving your pelvis on top of the head that is in between your legs. Like, how does that?
Like, that just describes like 50 different moves. Like,
you're telling other men to suck it. Like, I do this head. I do.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's one thing to have the physical interaction. It's a whole different thing when you add in all the other extra homoerotic stuff that they do, the suck it and the grinding in the face and the shaking the ball, all that kind of stuff. I mean,
Daniel Garcia, I want to know who told you, oh, this dance is hot. Let's put it to the next level. I want you to put the dude in the freaking corner, and then you start putting your balls in. Like,
So here's my question. It feels like we're at a time in wrestling where there's more openly LGBTQIA wrestlers out there. They now have pride shows. They have Effie's Big Gay Brunch that we didn't have before. But my question is, that's all great and it's all necessary. But the big wheels, the cogs, the AEWs and the WWEs, we still haven't seen enough movement there, right? I mean, we still need to see more acceptance from the mainstream. At this point, they're too big, if not TNA, they're three big.
Hold on. I don't understand how you say that. But you have in AEW the Golden Lovers reunion, one, and Kenny Omega being the face of AEW. Kenny Omega is an openly bi man. He gave us the greatest Will They Won't They love story. The Young Bucks are super Christian, and a whole storyline in BTE was Kenny and Coda coming back together, and you have that dramatic moment where they open the door and they're there, and it's just like Kenny's there, and then they open the door a little bit wider, and Coda's there, and it's just like, oh my god, like that type of stuff. It's
I guess what I was trying to ask is, have we gotten to the point where we're getting enough? Is that one situation with the Golden Lovers enough to make AEW really breaking through the glass ceiling?
it's not okay. So I'll look at AEW and then I'll talk about TNA. With AEW, they have to be very subtle in what they're doing because they are far more mainstream, and they don't want to pigeonhole anyone. It's like there are people in AEW who are in relationships with each other. There are some who are openly themselves, but they don't talk about that part of their characters. It's obvious when you look at it. Like Toni Storm has come out and said that she is bi. There's parts of that they play into, but they never are super overt with it as much as like a Dalton Castle is, because you don't want that to be all that you are. And for people like Toni Storm, I don't think that'll be a problem because she's really, really great at what she does. But there are also going to be fans who chant those things. Like when you see an AJ Lee, they're like, oh, CM Punk. Like, that's how it is. Now, it's a different story for TNA because you have someone like Giselle Shaw, who is one of their top female talent. The problem with that is who Giselle Shaw is in a relationship with. And that plays a factor in things as well. So it's like, how can you balance giving good quality stories, but also be mainstream? If they could take a storyline with someone like Giselle Shaw and work with that with someone like Nyla Rose across the companies, it would work. I think it would be really great. For WWE, given WWE's fan base, I don't know if it'll ever get to that acceptance. Because it's hard enough having a black champion without people rooting for Brock Lesnar to come back and, take the belt. Me personally, I don't know if we will ever get to a space with WWE that allows that and it feels authentic and real, or if it'll be kind of like Finn Balor, where Finn Balor is like wanting to be accepting and wanting to embrace people, and then they shut it back down after Pride Month.
Also, I'd like to bring up like the whole Liv Morgan and Lana thing that they did, and like it felt weird, it felt awkward.
It was forced.
It was very forced.
And we know they're both, we know Lana's married to Rusev in real life. And
she was.
Like, what you call it? And then you have, what's her name? Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, who are actually trying to do an authentic story. Will They Won't They with Otis, and you get no, what's the word?
Sonya never brings it up at all, ever.
Push. You don't get no push for that, and that's actually a better story than everyone's interrupting this dumb behind wedding that no one asked for.
And
I don't think WWE knows how to handle it, but I wonder if that is because of the things that they've covered up. Because when you think about it, WWE has never done a healthy relationship angle. They've all been kind of toxic there.
No, yeah.
Like what was the healthiest? Like Randy and his wife? Like
no, that wasn't healthy.
Well, I'm saying the healthiest that they've done.
We're talking on camera, right? We're talking on camera.
Yeah. That wasn't really a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's supposed to be soap opera-ish, so it doesn't really surprise me.
Pause. As somebody who watched soap operas,
I still do.
they had some help. They had at least one or two healthy relationships, and all of their relationships had
Out of the
healthy
300 on
moments.
each show, they had one or two healthy ones.
The ones that are
All their relationships had at least one or two moments where they were healthy, like Sonny and Carly. Yeah, they are crazy and it is horrible,
Mm.
but
out for
they
each
would
other.
stand up for each other. They wouldn't take no crap. They wanted their kids to have the best. They didn't want their kids involved in the life. The healthiest relationship I can think of in WWE that was romantic.
Give it to me. I'm drawing a blank.
Billy and Chuck.
Billy and Chuck. Well,
On the real one, that was for we were going against award with Raw, and that was just to build ratings to beat Raw.
And the way it ended was terrible at the wedding.
Triple
So
H and Stephanie for like 2 months.
But that even ended. That didn't even start out right. It started with
There was a 2 month span. There was a 2 month span where it was healthy, but they also weren't on camera together.
okay. It was somewhat healthy when we found out that it was her plan, because justifiably so, I was trying to be sacrificed to this crazy person because my dad wanted to be Austin, so I went with
You start
Triple H.
thinking about what
At least
Vince
it was neutral,
wanted to do.
huh?
You start thinking about the storylines that Vince wanted to do. And it's
It was like, sir, I'm your daughter. Get your crazy behind off.
the healthiest romantic. Okay. AJ Lee, CM Punk.
But that was a little okay.
I
Okay,
did crazy
We're
shit.
saying healthiest. We're saying healthiest because that started off with you just kiss a random crackheads emotionally, and it was
That-
Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk.
Look, I'm trying to find anything that was semi-healthy.
But also there was the real life stuff of like trying to tear other people's marriages down. Like Shawn Michaels talking about Bret Hart having sunny days.
And that was a lie. And Sonny was like, don't give me that body. I got other bodies that I could claim. You know what, Sammy? You might be right. The healthiest one was Billy and Chuck.
Yeah.
What? No, give me a minute. I'm gonna
the click making bets on if Chris Candido would unalive himself about Sonny cheating on him.
the hell? Oh my god. Okay, how about this? We can give it to Booker T and Queen Sharmell. They were together. They were together. The only thing was she had a stalker, but he beat up the stalker. But them together, they were strong. She didn't cheat on him. He didn't cheat on her. They came in. They left together. I think it's probably that's the healthiest one.
Two stalkers.
And Undertaker and Sarah. That minus the stalker.
Minus the stalker.
But Sharmell had two. You can't forget about Boogeyman.
Look, he's the boogeyman.
He wasn't trying to get with her. He was just having
He
fun.
was trying to terrify her.
He was trying to stick his worms in her mouth.
He was trying to stick his worms in everybody's mouth. And I also maintain that they should have had American Alpha be Kurt Angle's kids, both of them, because both of them look like Kurt Angle. I ain't even gonna lie, because I thought they were brothers for a while, because they both look like him, and they both look like each other.
Half brother from another mother. Yeah.
So when Chris Kanyon came out, WWE had him do this thing where he came through a door to his boy George, and then Undertaker beat him up. Would they still do that now? You think WWE would attempt to still do that now? You think that flies in 2024?
I think that WWE would likely just attempt to ignore it completely. Kind of like what they do with Shayna and Sonya and Tegan and any other woman on their roster that identifies as such. They basically just never bring it up.
Like
Like,
That
if
is
you want to have like rainbow gear, okay, fine, but we're not going to talk about it.
And again, I don't think it's ignored. I think that's well, I'm gonna get.
It's ignored.
I can't say Sonya because Sonya wanted to do it, so I'll take that back with her. But I think with Shayna, I think more so with Shayna. I think Shayna's like, I'm a badass. I just want to beat people up. So I'll take it back. I'll say if they want to, whatever. Cause I'm like, the only one I can say is I don't think Shayna wants her personal life out there like that. With Sonya, like I said, I would have loved to have seen how it played out with her, Mandy, and Otis, because I think that would have been a good story.
So the Women's Royal Rumble, Women's Royal Rumble has several out women that WWE doesn't acknowledge and doesn't make any kind of a deal about. Finn comes out with some rainbow gear and they make a huge deal about it. To me, there seems like a discrepancy there. I mean, it feels like I understand that not everybody wants to be a beacon for what they are. I feel like it's their job to stand on a soapbox for whatever it is that they feel, whether it's their sexuality or their race or whatever it is that might be an issue for them. Some people choose not to take a stand and they have a right to do that. But it feels like, I don't know, it feels like you have a watershed moment like that and you don't address it at all, but yet you give, I don't know, a whole lot of props to, and not that it's wrong. I mean, not that I have any issue with Finn getting props for what he did. I think it's great. I don't know. It seems that white guy doing something that's showing he's an ally overshadows the fact that there's actually, solid LGBTQ wrestlers in the Women's Royal Rumble. So I don't know.
I mean, but you also got to think about it like this: wrestling fans pop up at these people's house, at these women's houses. They stalk them in the hotels. They stalk them in the airports. There's some creepy people already. If you confirm that you are not straight, there are some men who feel like it is their responsibility to make you straight. And then you put yourself in a whole nother issue.
Sure.
I think as wrestling fans, if we want wrestlers to feel comfortable coming out and being their full selves, we have to stop allowing people in spaces to harass these people. Like when people are saying they hate Mercedes because she called them creepy, well, stop being creepy. Stop popping up in places. Stop doing certain things. Like, stop making these women take prom pose pictures with you when you know that's creepy and you ain't even paid the Chris Brown price. If you pay like $1,000 plus, that's different than paying $200 and then you making them take this. Like, let's be real. Chris Brown for $1,000, you getting picked up in the air and you singing like "Take Me Away" or something.
You're gonna sing for a ringtone, all that.
Like, we gotta stop allowing these creeper McCreepersons in wrestling spaces. It's as simple as that.
I remember.
Real quick, not a month ago, it was a Sky Blue match against the old girl that was with Saraya, and Saraya had to say creeps in the front, and it's like, bruh, keep your hands to your doggone self.
And people got mad at her for doing it. I am not a Saraya fan or Saraya fan. But the fact that they harassed Sky Blue so bad that Aubrey had to have them escorted out after the match. You harassing people at their job. Like, come on. It's bad enough women gotta wrestle in these skimpy little outfits and worry about all the slips and slides and things that might happen. But then you gotta be a creeper too. Ugh.
All right. So, in response to what CM said before, I remember a couple years back a fan photo with Becky Lynch where she just looked so uncomfortable standing next to the dude. And in response to what Anika said, Scarlett Bordeaux, when she wrestled in Mexico, she got groped by one of the fans. And like that was an issue that I would assume that they addressed it with that fan and kicked him out. I don't have the information on me though, but that was terrible.
And sometimes people get beat up by the wrestlers, and you just turn a blind eye to it. I didn't see that.
I never understand when fans like, yes, this is choreographed, but those muscles on them dudes' arms are real. So let them punch you real life full force. You really think that's gonna?
Look, I used to tell my students all the time when they would find out I'm a wrestling fan. They were like, "Oh, you like that fake stuff?" I was like, "Go look up Bryan Danielson and the Breakhead, and tell me how fake that stuff is." When they went to go look it up, and that man put that dude in a choke and choked him out. It was like, right.
So both WWE and AEW, although AEW feels like less direct, market to a wide variety of people, but children included, and they reach a lot of people. Do they have a responsibility to present this stuff in a way? I mean, how much responsibility do they have to present this stuff in a way that's realistic, that's not stereotypical, that's do they have any responsibility? Their entertainment, how much of it can they get away with? What do you think's reasonable as a
Uh,
general rule? I mean, are they role models? Is WWE and AEW, should they be role models?
I am surprised that AEW has yet to portray an on-screen thing with Diamante and Kiera Hogan.
They don't want to.
Oh, they don't want to. Okay, that makes sense then. If they don't want to themselves, then absolutely. Because that was something I was thinking about. Just like,
Honestly,
how do these two not do anything together?
just baseline. Let's just may the best wrestler get the greatest storylines. Like even though the Acclaim, no offense, I'm over. I'm through. But Anthony Bowens, if you can't tell this man can be a singles competitor and be a champion, I don't know what to tell you. Like I'm ready for him to break out and be by himself. I think the Acclaim has run its course. No offense, and I think it's time for Anthony Bowens to be by himself. Now, why they wouldn't do that is the bigger question. It's beyond me, but like let's just start there. Where let's rebuild Shayna Baszler. Like, ugh. So I hate social media because they give you old clips of how good someone was in an era, and it's like from there to here. I know what happened. A 78-year-old crazy person told her to bit someone's neck in her debut match, which is stupid. But it's
Well,
like,
Paul Heyman, and it was an homage to another wrestler.
but it really is like so. This is her debut. Are we really certain this is what we want to do with her? We just okay, fine.
Well, homage to a certain like wrestler, like it's
She
something
wanted
that
to do that.
she wanted to do. They try to figure out a good way to do it and get it over. I think,
But just like I ache for her because I saw how good. Like I wasn't there for the whole Black and Gold era, but I was there for the time I was there. Oh, this chick is badass. She's a star. I want her to be great. And that kind of thing about being a WE fan is that this hopeful longing of the people you know should be on top. Hopefully they'll get a storyline to sink their teeth into that will get them back to where they were. And the reality is it's probably not going to happen. And
I don't think
that's a hard pill to swallow.
I think part of it is also some of these companies don't know how to handle a good women's storyline.
Period. Yeah.
Gay, straight, yellow, purple, diamonds in the sky. They don't know how to do it. And that's why you get some really stupid angles, and And it always seems to come back to a dude or something like really trivial. Make it, I want this belt. You in my way. I gotta take you out. Let's keep it moving.
The best storyline AEW's done for women has been Tony Storm, though, right?
Sort of, but I'm also enjoying and have enjoyed the Willow versus Chris Statlander, where Chris Statlander couldn't beat people. Willow could. And Willow wins that belt. And Statlander's angry. And she's frustrated because she's pushed back to the back and everybody's standing in front of her. And now you got Stokely who's hyping her up and she's gonna do amazing. And nothing to do with like relationships. They were good friends, but that belt, that means more. So it's like stuff like that. Or Athena, where it's like, I want to beat everyone because I'm Athena and I am the best of everyone. Like stuff like that. Tony has like that sprinkling of sexual undertones to it because it's kind of like the old era of Hollywood kind of had that as well. So she kind of plays into that. But it's not as bad as, God help us all if we go back to Braun panties.
Oh wait.
The Braun panties match, the barking like a dog, the stuff that TNA saved us from.
Tori Wilson versus Dawn chick and your daddy in this now. Oh dear God, that was just so much,
And the thing is that like WWE looked so good with Wendy Richter way back in the day, and then they fumbled that bag so hard. So hard. They set women's wrestling back 50 years in 5 days.
So, Sammy, you mentioned Mercedes Martinez and Kiana James.
I did not.
Kira
Hogan and Diamante.
I apologize. Wow, I apologize. My bad. See, that's why I shouldn't say no names. My bad. The name Sammy just said. The name Sammy just said. You asked why they haven't done a storyline, and that brings me to my next question, which is: should companies have active kayfabe storylines that are LGBTQ based or around LGBTQIA stuff? I mean,
kayfabe.
Can they do it? Can they do it respectively? Like respectively?
I mean, that's the question. That's the question. Have they yet? Have they yet? And could they? If they can, should they? Should they not because they haven't?
Billy and Chuck was the closest that we were going to get to having a respectful gay relationship, and had they listened to the right people, it could have been done well. TNA has had some moments where they have done it respectfully, but that it's taken a TNA turn where it turned into some spooky stuff. So there's that.
About the Angelina Love and old girl who was drugging her.
Winter, kind of, but I'm also thinking like Rosemary and the Bunny, where it was kind of, but also, are you trying to eat her soul? Is this a euphemism for anything? You say you want to eat her soul, and I don't know if it's what I think or if it's what something else is. But I also am very aware of how it could play out with AEW. I think it feels like they're trying to approach it in a respectful way, and they are trying to be respectful of people's boundaries. So while they could do stuff, like that's one thing I do appreciate about Tony. Tony could put certain things out there and just say, F it, I'm the boss, I can do whatever. But it doesn't seem like he's actively trying to do that. Anika, before we keep going, I have a question for you. Is the China pose on purpose or because you just sitting over there and I'm just like,
No.
all I'm hearing is don't treat me like a woman. And I'm waiting for you to pull out like a bazooka and start shooting it.
No, it's not on purpose. I don't know how to sit still, especially in my room. Like if I was on my couch, I'd probably be more calmer. But it's just like I'm literally sitting on my hands right now because I have no clue how to control my upper body right now. That's the only thing.
You just gotta be like me and just kind of angle your stuff so you not seeing certain angles, or you can just kind of move around. Because I can't sit still.
Speaking of China, I got an interesting question. Does WWE bear any responsibility? And ultimately, what ultimately happened to her?
Yes.
I agree.
I feel like there's a laundry list of people that like WWE will never, own up to what they've done, but like they've irreparably harmed several people's lives.
So she wasn't, and then here's the thing: China was not gay. China was all woman. Cause like,
but they played off the thing of her being buff, and they made her feel like because of her physique, like they would call her a man, and
Right.
they would say like she was trans. They would say all this stuff about her, and you could tell it.
Ultimately, she changed her look because of the fans in WWE, right? Because it's
not just
more
the fans.
Well, no, I'm saying WWE, what WWE wanted her to look like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes and no because, like, well, she's supposed to be a security guard, so I guess if she wanted to be more feminine, yeah. So yeah, but I was gonna say, fortunately and unfortunately, she's probably the closest to the best representation of the community that WWE will probably ever do. Because even despite them trying to hold her down and make fun of her how she looks, she was like, "No, I'm a." You don't have to understand me or like me. Just know that I will beat your behind, and I'm gonna look great doing it. Point blank. Period. And I think that's probably just what everyone in this community like. No matter what, in this wrestling community, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm gonna still kick your butt.
But yes, WWE bears a lot of responsibility because she went to them and she wanted to resolve the issues. They wouldn't even meet with her. They knew X-Pac was abusing her. And they did nothing. They glorified him. He has been brought back multiple times. It's never been addressed. He's in the Hall of Fame and she is not. Besides with DX and her individual career is far bigger than the stuff she did in DX. The fact that Shane and Billy Gunn were the only two from that company and Mick Foley who tried to help her and give her love and give her self-assurance. And these men are now in higher places and it's perfectly fine. Everybody's perfectly content. And you're talking about, oh, I don't want to put her in the Hall of Fame because what if my daughter's looking to the Hall of Fame? You have a porn star. You have
Sunny.
You have a Trump. You have Hulk Hogan.
What's his name? Ultimate Warrior.
You have horrific people run in a fake Hall of Fame that is ran by a man who is on trial, well, in a pause trial, and in a company that's in a pause trial for trafficking. And you worried about them seeing her corn? Like, come
on. Jimmy Snuka, is he in the Hall of Fame?
He was. I think they took him out.
Okay.
But isn't that ironic how they can take him out, but Hulk Hogan gets to be back in? Trump was never taken out, and he's got all those allegations.
Actually,
they were proven.
The worst though, for what they've done to people. Like, it's hard to pick, but I would like to bring up Ashley Massaro for what they did to her.
She was a member of the community, by the way. So, what they knowingly did to her and how they played her and how her abuse, not just from like outside of the company, but inside the company, not higher up, but her partner. Like, we let that man go because he has great cinematic matches. He and his wife have admitted to what had happened with the woman, and they bullied her. And people seem to forget that. That is why I do not like that man. His brother, yes. That man, no. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you can look up Ashley Massaro's partners, and it gets revealed what that man did to her and his former partner, and how they dragged that woman's career through the mud because of lies that he told and abuse he did.
I think it's tough. I think when you have industries and careers where to reach the top of those arenas, I don't mean arenas by venues, I mean whatever area you're in. You have to do certain things or look a certain way or act a certain way to be there or to get there or to stay there. And that's a problem, right? I mean, there's, you have to look like, you used to have to look like a John Cena or a Rock back in the day to make it to that level. If you didn't make it to that level, right? The small guys didn't make it to that level. The cruiserweights were held down or stayed on the independent scene. They didn't, those kind of things. The women that don't look traditional don't make it, right? I mean, if you don't look like, if you're not A, beautiful, or B, look like a Charlotte Flair or something, a lot of times you don't make it. And I think it's a microcosm of our culture and the way we view people in general. And I do think that it's dangerous. And I think that it has an influence on our society. When you have millions of people watching it and you portray people with negative stereotypes, you force people to have to look a certain way, I think it does create issues. And I think you have people that find themselves feeling like they don't reach those same levels. They don't look like those people. They don't look like the people they're seeing like they want to, or they need to do this to look like that. And that's an issue.
Oh, no.
The
old trope for us Black people is you have to be twice as good to get half of what they have. And as much as there's a progression of the world, that don't see that in the future of that ever changing anytime soon. And that's probably why people don't come out, because they know if I come out, I'm going to be labeled as just this, as just my sexuality. I have to be great. And then when I get great, then maybe I will then maybe I will be the flag bearer. But I can't do that, and I'm still a jobber, basically.
Bobby Lashley meets the criteria.
Say that again?
Bobby Lashley meets their criteria for physique and all that good stuff. And Go ahead, Sammy.
John Laurinaitis spent 20 years ignoring female athletes and trying to hire female models.
We're not even going, because when Vince came back and hired that person again, and then you ruined everybody basically in NXT besides Mandy Rose. That pissed me off so bad. We ain't gonna go there.
Thank goodness Gail Kim left.
Because
as wrestling fans, do we need to outwardly, vocally demand more in all these arenas, from minority representation to LGBTQIA representation?
Yes, but it needs to be authentic, and there's times where we do it, where we come together as a community on like Twitter and Reddit and stuff, and we demand these pushes, and then when they happen, it's good, and then we give it a few months and it's dull, and we get over it. Like Kofi and Kofi Mania, they gave us what we wanted, but then they gave us sorry ass matches.
And here's the thing. I'm not gonna say sorry behind matches because him versus Samoa Joe, I actually thought was great. I thought him versus Dolph Ziggler was actually great. I actually like him getting his lick back from Randy Orton, but you didn't put him as the main event, and he's a champion, and that's just insane. Because well, I'm sorry, he's a champ, so why isn't he ending the show? He's the champ. Why isn't he not starting the show? He's the champ. Why is he in the freaking middle of your pay-per-view? And like I said, all three of those were actually great, decent. Kevin Owens. I'm like, so.
I was about to say. Yeah.
But you don't want to put him last. Why don't you want to put him last? And he's the champ. Just,
Brock was the other champ, right? No, Seth Rollins.
no,
Seth
he
Rollins
was the champ.
champ.
No. He wasn't champ. He became champ in 26 seconds. So you can set up a stupid fight where old boy got hurt.
I'm saying when Kofi was champ, the Universal champ was Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar during that time, and
I think it was Seth Rollins.
It was Seth on Raw, but he was on Raw though.
Oh,
yeah, the one that
Kofi wasn't the main event on SmackDown, not the pay-per-view, but on SmackDown.
Yes, on SmackDown, he was not the main event. Seth Rollins was on Raw.
Most of the time, Kofi was not the main event. Kofi kind of got pushed aside. And it sucked. It's kind of the same for Big E. You have these super talented men, and you don't push them. But it's like Bianca Belair. She has had moments of the clapping and certain things that she does that do not feel authentic to her, but that is the stereotype that they have given her. Meanwhile, you have someone like Charlotte who comes off very snobby, but is given the ability to play heel and face. If Bianca were to play a heel, how would that play out? If Jade were to play a heel, how would that play out? Look at how they did Naomi when she was a heel. And she was doing great work, but it evolved from something that you felt was more authentic to being a caricature. I'll say it like this. Andrade brought up the thing about Latino wrestlers fighting other Latino wrestlers. And you got folks that want Pentagon Jr. to go to WWE, and it's like, so he can wrestle the same 5 people over and over again and not get a main event shot. You got Dragon Lee getting pinned by Carlito. Like, what are you doing?
Until the 4 horsewomen came to the main roster, Naomi was the best women's wrestler they had. And she was not treated like it.
Her and Natalya, neither one of them were allowed to showcase their full move sets. And when you would see them do more risky moves, it was against each other. And if they tried more risky moves with more model types, instantly shut down.
And it wasn't their fault. It was the models who didn't know how to handle the move. Oh, to the botch. Yeah, the old girl don't know how to freaking take a bump.
I mean, that's a big differentiator in the women's wrestlers is the women who got in due to their modeling and the women who got in due to their athleticism, like Naomi, Natalya, Beth Phoenix.
I will also say some of these models, when they got in, they wanted to learn and they tried to learn. Like, people get the Bella Twins grief, but they really did want to learn how to wrestle. And you could tell that they really, at least Brie, really, really, really wanted to learn. And she wanted to go out there and she wanted to have great matches.
Oh, no.
When your opponents are told, don't do this move because it could hurt her. And don't mess up her face. Don't do this, don't do that. How much can you grow?
Because I'll give it to them. When the evolution happened, it was either piss or get off the pot. And they're like, no, we're gonna stay here and we're gonna get stronger and we're gonna do some moves. These people are here. Ain't gonna be just these 3 new women. we're gonna still stay. We're gonna give them bigger matches. And they got we got bigger matches out of Nikki and Brie. I ain't gonna front.
They actually let Alicia Fox start wrestling again. But along with what you said, ALW, we have to hold these companies to a standard. I know AEW gets held to a standard because I'm in these groups and I hear them bitching and moaning, and they're like, "Oh, Swerve is not the main event. Oh, Ospreay is gonna take it," and it's like, y'all really think that they built Swerve up this much just for Ospreay to take it clean? If he does win, it's not gonna be a clean. It's gonna be Swerve in his lick back. Like, patience, but you have all the patience for WWE to give you a black wrestler winning, and there's never been a black American world heavyweight champ. They've always had like Jamaican parents or of African descent or a Canadian dad and a Samoan mom.
Bobby Lashley.
He is Panamanian in black.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Huh.
They don't mention that on the team on the Hispanic Heritage Month. They
Well,
don't.
that's the military base of Panama, right? Like,
no, one of his parents is actually Panamanian.
Huh.
I think it's Panamanian. It might be something else, but I feel like it's Panamanian for him.
So, last question that I have on this subject is, would an Effie, let's say Effie wanted to go to WWE or AEW, would he be accepted by the fans? Could he do what he does in a mainstream company like that? Or does it only work because he's in the independents?
I think it works best. They independents, my mind immediately goes to Sunny Kiss. And although he had a shot in AEW, the shot wasn't well received, and it was very short lived.
Tony would give him a chance. WWE wouldn't.
But how long will that chance be? It'll be a chance.
And it's up to the fans whether he continues to get those chances.
I think what messed up Sunny Kiss was the pandemic, in all honesty. Because Sunny was doing really well. Pandemic hits. They have to pivot. When they pivot, you have a really good storyline with Sunny and Janela right there. And there's no like crowd to react to that. Because that needed a crowd. Because that moment when it happened, it was masterful. You don't have a crowd. Plus, Sunny had so many other things going on.
We also had Sunny and Dustin Rhodes.
Sunny versus Joey Janela, to me, I wanted so much from that.
Especially
That was a feud. I would have been the crowd by myself watching that. But I will also say, I am not a big fan of Effie. Because Effie feels like a caricature sometimes. And it's kind of the issue that I have with a certain member of another wrestling channel who always mentions Drag Race. And it's like, y'all are playing into the stereotype of what a black woman is and the caricature of what a black woman is, and you're giving it to drag performers and excluding black women from certain conversations. And that's very annoying. That's very frustrating. And it's like, I have to find my inner black woman. And it's just, oh my God, not again. I feel like if Effie were to come to like I don't think it'll work in WWE just because of storylines. And they don't. WWE is not good at really making stars. They're good at taking people who are already stars and elevating a little bit. I think in AEW it will work. I also think in TNA, be the face of TNA. because Effie is a great wrestler, but I think he could be the face of TNA and like soar off to new heights. But I don't think in WWE would work. But then again, I also don't think in WWE a Wardlow would actually work. It would work for 2 weeks. And then what do you do next? Or MJF. Or Ricky Starks. A lot of these people that people want to go to WWE, it has a time limit because what do you do when it's time to progress them past where they are right now?
Like you said, it's up to the fans, and then some, and more so making the fans get behind it. And then even with that, how much that takes a lot. Like just like like you said, Kofi Mania, and then you comparing it to Daniel Bryant, that took a lot. It took a. It's,
And the people play their role, but it's like, what happens after this moment? Look at Cody. What happens after he wins the belt? And that's what I was saying. I didn't think they were going to give him the belt when they gave it to him, because what happens then? Who's next?
Yep. All legitimate stuff. I mean, I don't think I have much else to say on the subject. I mean, we talked about it last year. We've talked about it other times. Anyone else have anything else they want to say in specific? Okay, go ahead.
If you want to support these wrestlers, buy their merch, go to their shows, watch Effie's Big Gay Brunch, watch Ashe Wrestling, where you have a mix of Black and LGBT plus wrestlers, out and not out. Like support places like GCW and TNA who are doing respectfully done LGBT storylines, and it's not consuming everything. It's just parts of it. Actually listen to people. Take the time to get to know some of these wrestler stories. And also be thoughtful in where you put your money.
Anything else?
that's all.
All right. Make sure and check out our Monday Night Raw short review coming later in the week, and our NXT short review. We'll have a Dynamite short review coming. Tune in on Friday night for Friday Night Fights. Anika and Sammy Joe will be watching SmackDown and Rampage. Tune in on Saturday, where hopefully myself and CM will be watching Collision. And until next time, peace.